now. It is recording.
Alrighty. So applying to FAFSA from, our group 4. So what is FAFSA? FAFSA is free application for federal student aid, and this includes grants, work study, federal student loans, state and school financial aid. You should fill it out basically as soon as it comes out, which was October 1st, because it's on a first come, first serve basis. So you want to look at the deadlines and make sure your application is in way before the deadline to ensure that you get the amount of money that you deserve. You're going to have to fill this out every single year, so it is a little bit tedious, but it's going to help you a lot. So you should fill it out every year. Things you're going to need for your application are all these. So your driver's license and or social security number. You're going to need your parents' email address and their social security number and birthdays. Permission from family members to get their tax return information. It's a lot easier if you link it to the IRS. There's a website to do that. And it basically takes you through the process a lot quicker. And it'll save your information for next year's FAFSA application. If you are applying for 2021 to 2022, you're going to use your family's 2019 tax return. You're going to use W-2 forms, bank statements, and information about your family's investments. So one big tip is to make sure that you always read everything carefully, especially when it comes to this, because you want to get the most benefit out of it and you don't want to accidentally say yes or no to something that really you don't know the answer to. And another important thing to note is that a parent or a guardian will have to sign off on this FSA, especially if you're under 18. So they will have to make a FSA ID as well. I need my resources. And now let's talk about some other options for paying for college if FAFSA maybe isn't the best option for you. So there's a lot of other options. One of them being military programs, work study, student loans, tax relief, family friends, going to a community college, or some scholarships. So for military programs, there's a lot available. It's mostly depending on what branch you're in, and that will determine how much money you can get. One really cool thing that I thought was, interesting was the post 9/11 GI Bill, which can pay for your full tuition and fees, board, and everything. It's basically if your parents or grandparents served in the military for at least 90 days after 9/11, and they'll also give you money for books and supplies. ROTC programs are also really helpful because they can help you start early on paying for your college. So pros of this is that the tuition assistance program pays for most of your tuition and fees. You also get experience of being on the job, and it translates directly into college credit. Um, so they're also tax free, which is really good, which means you don't have to pay back any of the money that you're given, which gives you a good head start for debt free after college. The cons are you might be interrupted during your studies to go and get relocated or get deployed or something like that, which would probably extend the time that you need to be in college for. So that's kind of a con. And there's also eligibility requirements that you might not get into because of however long you served in the military or the relative that served in the military or whatever reason. And benefits can also expire within certain time frames, so that is also a con. Another option is work study, and they provide you with part-time or full-time jobs for undergraduate and graduate students with financial need. And this allows you to make money during your school and everything. The one thing that I didn't think was too cool was you get paid hourly, but only usually once a month. That's the most that they're required to pay you. And you can either have it go direct deposit to your bank account, or it can go directly to all your educational expenses like tuition and all that. A pro for this one was getting money that goes directly toward your school, and you can even get a work study job that specializes exactly what you're doing or what you're majoring in. So that was pretty cool. A con that I thought was if you really need money, then this isn't probably the best option for you because hours are limited based on your progress in school. So say maybe you got a bad grade on a test because you didn't study enough, you wouldn't be allowed to make it up by getting more hours and everything because they would give you less hours because you were doing horribly, is what I mean. So, that's not the best option if you need a lot of money. Student loans, The best type of loan that I read about was subsidized student loans, because the government pays the interest while you're in school, and it gives you a lot less interest rates at the end of your loan whenever you're ready to pay it off. So federal direct loans, you can either be subsidized or unsubsidized, but besides that, there's also private loans, which usually have higher interest. For unsubsidized loan, that's a loan that basically the second you take that loan out, it immediately starts building up interest, which is going to be very expensive at the end. So one pro about this is, yes, you get money for school. That's kind of the only pro, because the cons are you're most likely going to start post-graduation in debt, since interest is very expensive. And graduate and professional students pay more in federal loans, which is kind of stupid, but you know, the government wants their money. Tax relief. So this is a really good thing. There's the American Opportunity Credit, which you can get up to $2,500 for qualified expenses per eligible student. There's a Lifetime Learning Credit, which is worth up to $2,000 each year per eligible family. And then there's a tuition and fees deduction, which reduces taxable income up to $4,000 by the amount paid to a post-secondary tuition. So you have to talk to your tax advisor about all of these. And right below, I put IRS Publication 970, because that's something that you're going to need to fill out if you're doing your own taxes, and to find out if you're eligible to deduct the $2,500 of student loans and everything. That's only if you're making below $75,000 a year, though. And I feel like that's pretty doable with like a minimum wage job. Yeah, so that's the good thing, that you're getting free money. It's not the most amount of money. It's not going to help you that much, but any help is a good amount of help. And it'll cover up some of your financial burden. The thing is, if you don't qualify, it's kind of sucks. So another thing I put down is family and friends help. Not a lot of people have this, but if you do have access to it, it could be very helpful and you can utilize it a lot. You can either stay at home or ask friends or family to help you pay for college, food, housing, books. Any amount of help is still very helpful. The pros of this is that there's someone there to motivate you, and you can reduce the amount of money that you're going to need to pay for college in the long run. Cons of this are you never know if there's going to be strings attached to it, or if they're going to fall through, drop the ball on you, and then you're going to be the one left with the charges and everything. And yeah, it may not be the most dependable. Community college is actually a really, really good option, because it's a lot cheaper and you really don't need to pay for on-campus housing fees. It's really good. Yeah, it's a really good education still for a lot cheaper. The only con that I think that there is there's a little bit of a stigma towards people who go to community college rather than Ivy Leagues. It's not like you're getting any worse of an education, or any like better or worse of an education. It's just that little stigma, and you might get hired less likely over a person who went to Harvard or something like that. Here I put in a bunch of different scholarships that you guys can go ahead and read over. I made sure to include all scholarships that have not expired yet, or that we haven't reached the deadline yet. I also added a little bit more right here. And of course, there's a lot more scholarships. I just found the ones that I thought would apply to the general population at Sato. And thank you, and I hope you guys find an option that is right for you.